Hello and welcome. My name is Mute Olori and this is another edition of Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio. Agriculture can be an important engine of growth and poverty reduction, but the sector is underperforming in many countries because women, who are often a crucial resource in agriculture and the rural economy, face constraints that reduce their productivity. Women are found to be the larger providers of the labor in rural agricultural communities, from sustainable to commercial farming. The role of women in agricultural production is expanding as men leave the rural areas for the city in search of greener pastures. The Nigerian rural woman is the chief source of agricultural labor. Yet, she's also the central victim of hunger, malnutrition, poverty, high fertility, and maternal mortality rates. There is therefore urgent need to increase women empowerment in Nigeria for higher productivity. On today's episode of Total Woman, we will be looking at the skills women need to thrive in agricultural business in Nigeria. And joining me on this program today is the Chief Executive Officer of NAGSA Enterprise International Limited. She's a trained shea butter technician and quality control and quality assurance expert. President of African Shea Butter Development Initiative, and presently the Assistant Secretary General of AWIB. Please welcome Mrs. Nelly Uloma Osage Ndagoba.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on Total Woman today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So tell me, so many things. I know you're part of the Arab gum manufacturers.
Gum Arabic.
Yes, gum Arabic.
Yeah.
You're into shea butter.
Yeah.
You're into so many things. And as an expert in quality control and quality assurance, what does it entail?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Quality control and quality assurance in every commodity. Because when you don't know how to control the quality of what you are processing or what you are producing, you can't get a good market for it. You have to standardize whatever product you are processing or you are producing. And you must have like when you want to go into export, you must have this traceability, and which is a very big problem we have in the industry, in most of the industries. We don't have traceability. Without that, you cannot actually penetrate the international market, even the local market, because we all need good things. We keep, that's one of the campaigns we are doing. It's not just to concentrate on exports or international markets alone. We also need to standardize what we do, what we process, and what to plant and all that. Because if you don't have that quality, is a value chain. If you don't have that control over it, like I take my shea butter for instance. If you don't have a good nut, you can't get a good quality of shea butter.
So that takes us back to the farm, the woman from the production, from the planting.
We call it tree.
Okay.
To kernel.
Tree
to butter.
To butter. Tree to butter. So let's go to the tree part.
Okay.
From the woman, the planter, that's where agriculture comes in.
Yeah.
What's the role of women so far in agriculture?
Yeah. Generally, in agriculture, women play a very vital role. Like, okay, let me use the shea butter because that's my really key area. A woman wakes up early in the morning. She has to go and pick the nuts. You have to leave early. If you don't go early, some other people will have gotten there before you. 1, 2, the snakes, because it's a very sweet, fruit. So the snakes are there for you to also come in and and take it. These women go out of their way as early as 5 a.m. to go and pick these nuts. Come back home, boil, because you don't keep it. That is where the quality control comes in. They have to know when to boil, because it's something that when you bring it, you don't allow, maybe 3 days, you don't allow it to stay more than that. Because when it starts germinating, it's bad. You can't use it again for the nut. It gives you a different grade. You cannot get the grade A. You can get B, C, D, up to F. So these women, their role, especially in the chain of the shea butter, is really, really enormous, and it's very tedious. But these women go extra length, extra way to do it, to make sure. Some will put their babies in their back to go as early as 5 a.m. to go. And when they come back, the sad thing is that the men are at home sleeping while these women are out there going to do these things. By the time they come back, because some of them have 2-3 wives, by the time they come back, they go through the processing again. When the money comes, it goes to them.
It goes to the man.
The man.
So women play the dominant role in the agricultural sector.
Yes.
Than what we have men in. Okay, but so what are the issues limiting women? If we are doing so much and the population of women is that large, and we have so many women in agriculture, why are we not seeing the produce or the efforts or the power of numbers that you have in the agriculture of women? Why are we not seeing it in the day-to-day markets?
Our culture, tradition is limiting the women. If you look at the northern women, they cannot go out. They do their thing in-house. They cannot actually come out to get their produce to the market. So the man comes in, give them peanuts for what they have labored to get. But they are happy with the little they have, as far as they can just put food on their table, change 1 or 2 wrappers and all their children they can feed, they are okay. So because our culture, our tradition, especially in the north, well, maybe south are a bit exposed and all that, but they see that limitation. The men dominate the industries, in all sectors. But the women are the ones doing the work. They are the ones doing the farming. They are the ones doing the labor, everything. If you go to, there are some in areas that you have to do the cleaning, is the women. You can't say the men there. But they come in, take the produce, give them what they want, and take it to the market. In all sectors, the men, but the major part of the job are done by the women. But we are limited because of our traditions, our customs, and our culture. You can't go out. A woman cannot argue with the husband. A woman cannot do this. Like, if I'm taking my women outside Abuja for training, because I also train on shepherds, I have to pay the men, their husbands, for taking them out of their homes. They are not going to allow them to go with me without me giving them money. And I must not pay them directly. The money must come to the man, their husband. Then he will now tell them what to do with their money. And these are hard-working women. Nigerian women are hard-working. When you see them, the way they labor, you will just, feel bad. Yes, agriculture, if we give more attention to it and more attention to women, it's going to take over from the crude oil we're talking about. Shea butter alone can empower over how many millions of women? It's mainly women's job. It can empower a lot, and it can change the economy of a nation.
Well, how do we handle this interesting expose that you've just given to us right now, where the women actually are working? We have the numbers in there. They're really doing the job. But economically, they are not empowered for the kind of entrepreneur, the kind of efforts they put in building their entrepreneur.
You see, it's a system that is going to take a longer time to, Their mindset is already there. They are, they are limited. They are, they take to whatever the husband says. And when you go, in African culture, you can't argue with your husband. You can't talk back at your husband, even if he knows he has done. You still have to go and plead with him. Like one I have, he has 2 wives. I think he's about taking the 3rd one.
And the money made from the labor of the woman. Interesting.
If I have like Christmas or Easter or something, I give them wrappers, I give them buy rice and all that. He will ask for his own. I have to also buy for him as the husband. So these are really, problems. And they cannot talk, they cannot do anything. They don't even, let's even expose them. They can't even, some of them cannot even have their own bank account. When we're doing this survival fund thing, where is your account? Let's put it. No, use my husband's account. The man will say, no, use my account. So it's as bad as that. Until we, I've been in this for over 20 years. There's hardly a village I've not been to. It's so sad that when you see them, you see a girl of 12, 13, she's already carrying a baby. You understand? Carrying a baby, what is she going to do? She's going to rush to the farm, pick 1 or 2 things, get the tree or something, the wood to go and sell, or, all this. The system is not helping the situation.
So what can we do? What skills can we build in these young girls or these women or these farmers that would empower them to begin to earn, should I say, the trust, and that the men think that they are holding these things in trust for them. How do we go about empowering women with the right skills? What are the right skills you think they really need?
So the first thing is, like what I did in my own case. One, I'm not from these parts of the country. That was a very big problem for me, but I was able to penetrate them. I was going like every Saturday, I'd go and sit down with them, sensitize them. First of all, you talk to the men. Let them understand why these women have to do this. I can tell them, I say, if you go to Ghana, you see their women, they are counting dollars. They're not even counting their cedis. They say, hey, how did they do that? I say, yes, because their husbands allow them to go and do this. And they have so much, funds they can access. Mostly now, most African countries, the concentration is on women. But here, they are still a bit limited to be able to access any fund. I always advise some women, please, let's try and sensitize the men first. When you are able to win the men, they will be relaxed and the women will be able to, to get them. Give them the right skill. To teach them how, like what we do even in our association, because it's from the grassroots to up there. So we have some women at the middle who we train that goes down to the grassroots. Teaching them marketing skills, sales, how to plan. And most problem is, this is how my father has been doing it, this is how my mother has been doing it. So they all do the same, it's a kind of thing they do.
So if they need to even acquire skills, we need to first of all also work on their mindsets.
Yes, that is number one.
I'll take a short break. I'll be right back. Still Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio. When we come back, we'll be looking at the skills that we need to develop in the Nigerian woman in agricultural industry. Please don't go away.
I can be all I ever dream of, oh yeah. I am a total woman. I am a total woman. Oh, I am a total woman.
All right, welcome back. It's still Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio, and we're talking about women, the skills that we need to develop in women for them to thrive in the agricultural sector, and we've identified issues about trust in the men and trust, the challenges they go through to actually go to their farms, and when this produce come out, the chain is cut off at that point because they need to hand over those produce to another set of persons who do not adequately compensate the women for the labor they've put into. But we also identified that the women themselves need certain skills like marketing skills, mindsets, knowing that they have the power to be and to earn as much as they put in to their labor. So we're going to be looking at the agricultural sector, the role of government in helping and funding these women. So my guest is Mrs. Nelly Olomo Ndagoba. And my question is, the government adequately funding the resources and manpower to support the agricultural sector?
Yeah, there are so many programs there to support agriculture, but women are not accessing it because of collateral. That has been another problem for women, because there is no husband that is going to give the wife his house that he labored to build, to go and use as a collateral. Even though he believes that, oh, this woman is good in her business and all that, but there's still something behind them. Say, no, if maybe this house can go like that, cannot use it. So that is one problem the women are, facing. But luckily for us now, I would say luckily, because the Minister of State, Ajamere Katagu, has promised to assist women with this CBN Agnes loan. So he has promised to, during the last Commerce Week, it was approved that 50,000 women be empowered, which he's working on. So it is now the duty of all women in different cooperatives, associations, to send down their association's women's name for us to submit to the Honorable Minister, which is doing very well. And in the Survival Fund, some women have actually gotten. So, but it has to go down to the grassroots.
Go down to the grassroots. That's where
because the issue is, the own is just the grassroots money is just like 20,000-30,000. What can that do? They'll just take it and go and buy food in their buy foodstuffs at home. That's what they. But we also encourage them to be in cooperatives. In cooperative, you can access up to 1 million or 2 million. Some cases 3 million. What we plan is the middle class women form cooperatives, access this loan, because in some cases now there's no more collateral. Though at times when you get to some level, there will still be some banks, especially these commercial banks, will still be asking for, unnecessary documents, which is the women don't have. So that has really pulled them back to their shaves and all that. So when the minister came up with that, so we now said, okay, let's form cooperatives with the middle class, because they cannot do anything without the grassroots. So when they are empowered, they go down and empower those women. And, the chain flows. They empower them to farm more, either in their maize, the sesame seed, the ginger. They farm more of these things, which, goes up there for exports. So that is just the plan and what we are encouraging, so many women support groups, which they are doing. So that has actually, is really, taking a good shape.
So with what government is doing now, do you think that the women, if we have the opportunity of empowering more women, like the government is trying to do you think women have access to adequate land for farming?
That's a big problem too. The land is not there. So this is why when you form these cooperatives, you'll be able to put money together and buy the land. Because they are like Federal Ministry of Agriculture came up with a land scheme and all that, which you can buy and do your farming. So when you get this money, when the cooperative, you can now maybe about 10 of you, 20 of you put money together and buy, then you do your farming. You farm whatever you want to farm. So that is going to also, ease the problem of land, because when you go to the villages, I'm the male child. The female child does not have a say. It does not have a land. You go to your husband's house. Your husband's house, there are men there. Oh, okay, this place belongs to us. I have my family. So we cannot actually go down. So the land problem, the only way we can solve it is getting people into cooperative, access this fund, then buy the land. Then it's your own. You farm whatever you want to farm. It's not life for you. It goes from hand to when you are old, your children takes over from you and all that. It is now your property. There is no, we are farming here today, somebody will just come, this is our family land. They seize everything. You can't even harvest what you have planted there. So when we are able to access this fund, we pray it works out, because though I know the woman, the Honorable Minister is a woman of her words. Anytime, like 2 days ago, the senior minister also, confirmed and also said, okay, now it's women, because like so many organizations have actually approached us. Oh, can you send 15 women groups, because there is a coalition, ANWBN, Association of Nigerian Women in Business and Business Network. We have 52 women business groups. So some will say, give us 15, we want to empower. Some are going to, we are going to give equipment, we are going to do this. So we just pray that all these things works. By the time we are able to collect all together, women will have,
I see that we're beginning to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Forming cooperatives and networking from, like you said, the tree down to the final product. Now let's look at the area of scarcity. We're still experiencing food scarcity in our country. Why do you think we're having that problem? Is it that a lot of people are saying they're going into farming, but they're really not producing enough? Or what is the problem?
We are not producing enough. Some, like seedlings, you don't get the right seedling. So like the other time, I think it was last year, when they said we are short of maize and all that. Because there's no attention more to agriculture then. Well, I think now there is going to be, because I can't see a country where we have vast lands, and we are saying corn is the easiest crop we can easily plant. We are saying we have to even, import from another country. That was a very big, shame on us. So we have to, even some women have to take it upon themselves. Like my deputy vice president, Nelly, we have vast of land in Adamawa. What are we doing? But the pandemic, held us back. Because we have over 100, 200 hectares of land which we plan to do soya bean. We get the right, the hybrid. Then we'll go. It's business for us. We want to change the narrative. We want to change the system. Not really like when I started, you have come to corrupt our women. You have come to do this. I said, no. I now sat them down. I always called the meeting, called their emir, their miangwa. I see them down. I said, okay, as you are here now, sir, if at the end of a section, your child comes and says, school fees, and you don't have, it's not every time you have that money. You say, yes. I said, okay. And your wife just rush into her, assisa, what do they call it now, where they keep money. And she brings out the money and says, okay, take, go and do. Will you not be happy? Say, I will be happy. I said, so this is what I'm fighting. So that the burden will be less, for you. He said, okay, it's true, that's true. And the women started. I said, you must put your children in school. The proceeds from what you are getting, let it go down to your children, because when they are in school, the man would now know that, oh, this is what this woman has come to sell to us. So if I'm coming here, Inazua, Ganizua, she's here. They gave me all sorts of names. Mama Shebota is coming, Ganizua is coming. They gave me all sorts of names. But at the end of the day, they will call. If they have any problem, maybe even domestic or anything, they will call me. So, we now have a good rapport.
So these women in the grassroots, how can we help them to overcome these constraints that they're having?
It's still much talking to them. Sensitization, collaboration. Like some few years ago, some students from Sheffield University, London, they came. So I took them to one of the villages I'm working in Quetta. So we got there, they are very adventurous. They now went to the river and saw how dirty the river is. Those children put money together, called their school. They sent them money, sank a borehole for them. So that village, they see me as, because they now saw that we are bringing development to them. So when you are able to wash off those, wash them off from those systems and all that, in fact, they will appreciate and accommodate you.
So there's still a lot of work to be done.
Oh,
if
yeah.
we must harness our agricultural sector.
Yeah. A lot to do. We have a lot. But it's a gradual process. We'll get there.
And that is why Total Woman is also taking it up upon themselves to see that we talk to people like you who are right there, who interact with them in the grassroots, to bring these issues to the fore so that we'll be able to still support them. Now, what kind of relationship do you think that the private sector and the government can go into that would help the women farmers?
Partnership. It all still boils down to funding. There's not, when you have the right funding, you have the funding to get the right equipment or the right seedlings for them to use. That's the partnership.
But we have issues of the middlemen, because we've seen cases where funds were given to women who have the opportunity of meeting, accessing these funds, but they don't get to the farmers who really need the money.
Yeah, that is a big problem, but then I know with gradual
so that's what I'm asking, what kind of relationship how can these funds now get to the right people? What kind of partnership do you think the government and those who have the funds and those of you who know these people, what kind of relationship do you think we can form so that those women can adequately get the fund and then we'll be able to overcome food scarcity?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, we encourage most of them to open up an account where this money goes straight to them, because they are the ones to get the seeds. They know where to get it, right? And they know how the soil, they know what to do. So when this money gets to them, they will utilize it. But when it has to go from hand to hand, that's where the problem is. So when it goes to them directly, like by the time we are going to the villages, taking banks to open an account for them. So there's nothing like, it has to come to NESAG Enterprises before it gets to, it goes straight to them. But you will just be there to see what they are doing.
Monitor
them, mentor them, and let them know. And you see, I look at our women. At times I'll get home, I cry because they are very hardworking. Women are very hardworking. You need to see when they are working. You look at the level, and see the passion of what they are doing, the kind of passion they put in, the kind of effort. You just look, and at the end of the day, somebody is sitting down there. So we just talk to them, and I know some places are still very strong to break it, but we'll break them.
There is nothing we cannot do
because our minds and we come together. That is one thing about it. I will keep preaching to them. You don't need to backstab yourself. You don't need to come together. I tell people, I say, well, we come together, we'll take over this country.
I know we can. Thank you very much, Madam Nelly, for being my guest on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you know the skills as a woman that you need to develop. It's not about running down the other, but the ability to change your mindset, get the marketing skills, know what to do. Let's try our best to form cooperative that we eliminate those middlemen. Either the middlemen we're selling our produce to or the middlemen with funds that don't get to us. If we're able to put ourselves together and eliminate those middlemen, I think agriculture in Nigeria will begin to work more. And the effort of every woman, every farmer, in seeing that we have good food in Nigeria will become an achievement and a reality. So that's the show for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be with you again next week with another guest. Bye-bye.